Good afternoon. Another happy hour. Drew Franklin, Tyler Thompson, Adam Luckett, Nick Roush, the same group of four we had last Monday, and that's because there's a lot of football talking to do. You might have heard that sound there. That is Tyler cracking what I assume. Yep, Country Boy, our proud sponsor of the happy hour every Monday at 4 o'clock. Just like last week, this one's going to have a lot of football. That's why Roush and Luckett are here again. Camp kicked off last week. Week 2 starts today. And the three of us spent a lot of time around the team with Media Day on Friday, Fan Day on Saturday. Basically, we got to go to 2 practices, guys. I mean, that's what it boiled down to. Probably the last 2 we'll see until maybe a final scrimmage at the end of the fall. But we will talk a lot about that and a lot about all the news from the weekend. Luckett refuses to talk about the Reds, but we're going to bring up the Speedway Classic. He might mute himself on that one. But Tyler, I'll start with you. Back again another Monday. It's become very routine for us. Did you have a good weekend?
I did. I'm glad that we have all 3 of you on because I was completely off my phone on Saturday. We did a poker run on Barren River Lake. So I had my best friends from Nashville came up. Have you all ever done a poker run before?
No, I don't understand the concept because a poker, I just don't get the running. Where does it? Yeah, because I know poker, but I don't understand the run aspect of it.
There's 5 different sites throughout the lake, different marinas, and then there's a stop that's like a beach, and you get a card at each of them. And so you don't see your cards until the very end. And so it's whoever has the best 5-card draw wins. So you can buy as many hands as you want. You have 4 hours, which was not enough time, which is an entirely different topic. But to go to each of the marinas, get your cards, turn them in, and then whoever has the best one wins $500 or something. We did not win, unfortunately. I think we had 4 hands between 6 of us, and I think our best hand was a pair of jacks. So we did not win, but I was off of my phone during Fan Day, so I'm going to rely on you all to catch me up. I mean, I've read all of our coverage and watched everything, but I'm looking forward to this. Yeah.
Nick Roush, we weren't at the lake, but that weather on Fan Day was pretty damn awesome, huh?
Well, I actually, that was what I did after Fan Day I mean, the kids had been there all day. So yeah, we got a little lake time in. We weren't running to poker games, just running into the water because it was Chamber of Commerce weather. Yeah. I don't like it. You're the football weather expert. Was that technically football weather?
I'll count it in July. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, outside air conditioning was what it was.
Right, because you're more of a 50-degree or hell, more like 40-degree weather kind of guy. So I didn't know if 80 or 79 in July would count because that was awesome.
It was
for
awesome.
a player that's about as good as it gets in July training camp season. If it feels like that, you feel like you stole something.
Media Day, also pretty good weather. I know we're not going to do 1 hour of weather here for everyone watching, but
we should. Nick, it was that good.
Nick, you've done a decade of those with me. Normally it's about 115 degrees, but we got lucky on Friday. A big day from camp. Also unique, Mark Stoops didn't talk. We heard from him earlier in the week, but we'll start there with some of those interviews we heard from on Friday as we get into the Fan Day and the 2 practices we saw. You were there for Mitch Barnhart. Let's just start at 9:30 in the morning. I know you've talked about it a lot.
Wow.
We posted about it, but it's been, a little while.
It was 84 years ago.
Yeah. Any big news from Mitch, or do you just want to skip right to the
I mean, I think it's important that he shared details that we didn't really know about. It's not $20.5 million. You got to take $2.5 million off the top due to scholarships. I didn't know that. I didn't know that you could break up some football scholarships. That makes a little bit more sense from us when Luckett's trying to count up the scholarship total, and you're like, well, how are all of these guys on scholarship? How does that work? So the devil's in the details with a lot of that stuff, and I know he didn't share the big one that people wanted to know. How much of a percentage is X sport going to get? But I appreciated that there was seemingly a straightforward, direct mentality really throughout everybody, throughout the entire week, from Stoops to Mitch to Bush to Brad. I mean, they're not going to tell you everything, but they weren't shaking our chains around. They weren't trying to beat around the bush. It felt very – it felt like we spent the last 6 months just grasping at straws because they won't tell us anything. And finally, they were willing to talk about things and tell us things. And it's like, is it that hard? Like, like this? I know this is a wild concept, but like answering questions, delightful and enlightening. So I at least enjoyed that. It's seemingly everybody around the program was pretty straightforward with the media, with Big Blue Nation ahead of the start of the season.
Luckett, you two have been locked in since the spring. Was there anything on Media Day, just in the talking, not the practice we saw afterwards, that anything new to you, any breakthroughs from whether it be more for Mitch? We had the coordinators, everybody broke out in their own interviews, or was it more just setting up the two practices we got to see?
Well, to Roush's point, I do think like Stoops on Monday, Barnhart on Friday, I think there was more openness to speak frankly and candidly than in the past. Instead of just like a 2,000-word non-answer from Mitch, I think we actually got like answers to questions, which was nice. An interesting point to me. All right. Subject, like they avoided, I think, verbiage that I think pissed fans off in the offseason. A little lull, a 1-year blip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When he was asked about like kind of expectations for this season. And to me, he kind of threw water on anyone say like the fire Mark Stoops or Mark Stoops is on the hot seat talk, which pretty much we need to see improvement, but the schedule's really brutal. I've given a lot, like, I can't remember what he said, but like he has patience or a long leash with his coaches, but it was very much kind of we need to show improvement. If we don't show improvement, then we've got to figure something out. Like to me, we got to figure something else out. But this year is all about like making sure what happened last year didn't happen again. And I think it was good that he kind of recognized it, but also discussed like this is not a hot seat situation at all. And I know if losses start piling up this year, I know people will want to make it that, but with this contract, it's not. It just isn't.
Yeah. Everybody else will get fired.
Because we can just kind of and you can, like with Mitch saying something, you can kind of go back to that and to see how they respond if the year doesn't go well.
And I thought he had a good line. Yeah, he was talking about how he has a tendency to give coaches the benefit of the doubt and he's known for his longevity and all of that. I think he said something like, I'm sure that people don't care for that, but I'm over what people care or think about me or something. Like it was that line in the press conference. And then he had a couple lines on his KSR interview where it was like, man, Mitch, like swaggy Mitch. I thought that was good to see, because he's very vanilla and usually you get nothing from his media appearances, but he had some pep in his step too. And I thought Stoops was great on KSR as well.
It went viral.
He was talking like
comment. Go ahead, Nick.
I was just saying he was talking like he had unbuttoned that top button, but it was still there. I can confirm it was still buttoned.
Yeah. I can't believe Shannon played Loosen Up My Buttons, baby, when Mitch joined us. One more from those interviews. I was on radio, so most people already know everything I heard from Media Day. I didn't get to wander around with you all, but Stoops saying he's going for the throat in the Governor's Cup, and then Vince retweeting it. It's good to know Vince is still following everything going on with KSR, but that was kind of a moment that put a big smile on my face. Stoops played the game with Vince. I appreciate it. It was late getting that to ask him. It's the first time we've had him since the Vince thing, but then saying he's going for the throat, Nick Roush, in the Governor's Cup. You don't hear a coach say he's going for the throat that much. But
he should. They all should. I was disappointed in that football team at Media Days. It was like, oh, Vince is so nice. Blah, blah, blah. Dude, just say you want to kick his ass. Like, because he's going to see it. Like, and you probably have told him that. If you were on that team, he's talked to you. Like, I don't know. Hi, Vince. Just
he's in the comments. Vince,
thanks for following KSR on Twitter.
I know. He's got to have the notifications on, right?
11 personnel in this show are definitely getting played in the Louisville football facility. Doubt in my mind.
Hi, guys.
Hello, everyone. Well, all that from Media Day, even though it's getting a little dated, it's all on this here YouTube channel. You can catch up if you hadn't seen it with us. Now let's get to this.
I was just going to say, Luckett had a great interview with David Gusta that kind of got buried, but don't let it get buried. He's hilarious. He dropped 2 F-bombs. Like, that just doesn't.
I just saw the clip from that. Not of that, But I saw he was talking about cicadas and how much he hates cicadas. Like that's relatable. I mean,
My favorite
he seems
part
great.
is he said he drove to Georgia and he saw an alligator there, so he's not swimming anywhere in Kentucky. Mark Story said, "We don't have gators here." He's like, "I'm not taking any chances."
That's the fun stuff that comes out of media day. You don't get that when they're at a podium after practice. But
yeah, quite the character, and he's a guy we'll hear from all year too. So
he's good.
And it's confirmed Gusta, right? Not Gusta.
Yeah, Gusta. He's got a Gusta.
Yeah.
Peak, do you want to play the video?
Yeah, just play it. You got it dialed up.
Yeah.
I heard cicadas for the first time. I did not know what those were. I freaked out when I walked outside in the summer. Like it was the weirdest thing. Like a big bug hit me in the mouth, and I was freaking out. But
have cicadas in San Bernardino?
They don't got nothing. We even like the only thing we got is ants. And then I came out and then I saw some big bugs and trees. And see my language, I freaked out. It's like it was weird. But and then I drove down to Georgia. I saw an alligator for the first time. That freaked me the out too. Excuse my language. Yeah. And so I even just swam in a single body of water here.
At least he said, "Excuse my language." Very polite of him.
I mean,
And then
take
double
him to
down.
the
I love
Newport. Take him up to Newport. Show him the albino alligator. I don't know if he was. They have to carry him out of there.
All right, the practice. I know not everyone got to be there. Friday after media day, we got a little short lunch break, and then the media was invited back to watch an open practice. Then fan day was open to fans and media again. We got to see that practice. So we'll combine the two here, just talking about those two together. Biggest takeaway, obviously, is Cutter Boley's the starting quarterback. No, I'm just kidding. But that has been a big reaction. Very good QB2, we'll say. He's not taking Calzada's job unless someone has that wild prediction. But a very popular take from anyone who's there is how good Cutter Boley looked. Of course, he's running with the twos. A little bit different circumstances. But, Nick, it doesn't seem like they'll have a huge drop-off if it does get to that point, at least what we saw of the small sample size.
I love – you forget what it's like to be in the middle of it all during fall camp. If you say something good about one, it's automatically something negative about somebody else. We're crazy. We're a little insane because that practice, Calzada, he had a couple rough moments where there was too much time and he just didn't see the safety in the middle of the field. Meanwhile, Boley, he's clearly got a good feel for what's going on. He's much more comfortable. It's not that the lights looked too bright at times for him last year. He was just off, he looked like he needed another year. And this whole part of the plan, this whole process was to take 2 years to learn and grow so that when he does get his first start, he can hit the ground running. And it doesn't look like some of the times we saw him last year. People forget his first throw was a pick six. And he was 0 of 6 in that Florida game. And then he came out in Louisville and it was picks and sacks. I know that we want to shine a brighter light on just how well he looked at Texas. So you need to have a higher floor with him. It's clear he's the higher ceiling quarterback of the two. Just those wow moments that showed up in practice. It's about being steadier. So it's good to see that there are less lulls and more highs for Boley out there in practice. But I did like that Calzada, just routine plays looked routine like it. And I know that that's so boring to say, but we've seen it time and time again where basic stuff just hasn't happened in the passing attack. And, you've got a 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 8. There's a nickel blitz, and he just hits the slot for a quick slant. It's just the easy automatic answer. And that's what Calzada is going to bring to the table this fall, is a guy who's seen a lot that, even if he is a check down Charlie at times, Kentucky's going to stay ahead of the chains because they've got a guy who's making the right decisions under center.
Yeah. Also, don't make something out of nothing. Like, they paid Calzada to come here. They paid him to start football games. So, that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And the plan is right. I think Nick hit it. The plan was not to play Cutter Boley last year. They just had to out of necessity. And the plan is for him to be a backup. But Bush Hamden has a history, and that history is playing multiple quarterbacks. He's done it pretty much at every stop throughout his career. So you're probably going to see Cutter Boley at some point throughout. But to me, it was just it was a checklist, and we got to in big permanent ink got to check off a box at those open practices with Bully. He's showing improvement and he's showing progress, I think, as a quarterback in Kentucky's system, which is something I think you really wanted to see after last year.
Nick, debating the quarterback is kind of pointless because this team is going to run and then they're going to run. And when you think they're done running, they're going to run and then they're going to run again.
Yeah. And the part that sucks is just that they aren't tackling there. So we don't really know how good those backs can be. But you see them up
I don't
close
think they know yet either, Nick. Like, it's going to be the scrimmages that's going to really determine some of that.
But McGowan did look impressive when we saw him on Friday. Dowdell's a big old boy. I think if you get any third and short yardage situation, they're just going to turn around and hand it off to two. But I really think we're burying the lead here because I think maybe the most impressive performance of the weekend was Drew Franklin getting the cell phone footage of the Willie Rodriguez catch.
Thank you.
Nicely
Yes.
done.
You know, I had recorded about 20 plays on my phone, drops, just leading to nothing. I'm like, I've filled up my phone with nothing I can use, and I took a little break. But then something right before that one said, all right, let's pull out the phone and try to get some content again. And I get the good Willie Rodriguez catch. Another guy looking good in camp. Also on, I think it was Saturday. Yes, definitely Saturday. I spent a lot of time watching. There's a lot of the twos, a lot of Boley. That's why I started with Boley. But Hardly Gilmore, he's got a lot to learn. I'm standing next to the sideline coach who's holding his hands, it seems. But there's a clear, high ceiling for him, especially on that second team. He looks like a guy that is going to be a great player here once it all gets between the ears. But a lot of what I saw on Saturday was, hey, 17, you're lined up off sides. Hey, 17, outside, not inside. Hey, 17, no, it's this, not that. So the wheels aren't turning all the way yet. But what I saw of him on Saturday, and then with the catch with Rodriguez, are two guys, two young talents that'll be the future of their positions here. And even though Gilmore looks a little behind on the IQ, I thought he was very impressive of what I saw of him.
They need him to figure it out this fall because I think he's the most talented receiver in the room. Now, we still haven't seen Kendrick Law, which that's one guy I'm like, all right, the passing offense is going to go through this guy. What does he look like? He was being held out preliminary issues. It's all a bunch of precautionary stuff. Vets, they missed plenty of campus practices throughout camp. But the other guy for the future that they're probably not going to need this year, Montavian Quisenberry is just a ball player. Like he's going to, whatever it takes, he's going to find a way to get it done. That kid's good. I'm glad that it felt like Kentucky was dragging their feet in a little bit in his recruitment Luckett. I'm glad they just said, no, screw it. We're going to take this guy because that kid he's going to be good in a Kentucky uniform.
Yeah, he was one of the big winners, I think, of the two open practice periods. Like he looked like a potential, legitimate rotational receiver for them with some room to grow, really into something. So yeah, that was definitely a nice development.
Well, you said winner.
Represent.
Who's our loser? Do we have any losers? Because
The
if one's good,
I have some losers.
Yes.
okay.
There was a collective batch of losers on Friday. The receivers, everyone was dropping passes. It was not a good look. I mean, you name them, they probably had a drop. Boley had a couple good throws that could have been touchdowns dropped in the end zone. It was about a 15-minute period where it seemed like they all had olive oil in their hands. So that was a negative for me. It might not be a lingering thing. It's early in camp, but there were well, it could be. But the drops were getting pretty frustrating, at least on that Friday session we got.
I hope we're not talking about Jagger Burton snaps next month. It would not be good.
Frustrating last year. I mean, yeah, I was reading Adam's takeaways and I had read that and I was like, oh man, like that. And then the Big Blue Wall's depth or lack thereof potentially. That's like the one unit we've all been worried about so much. And you don't really want to read that kind of report early in camp, but it's early. So
it feels like the offensive line is the Big Blue Wall that's built with Jenga blocks. We're like, man, this tower might be pretty good, but if you pull one thing out, then it just crumbles. Because Jagger's a big part of what they want to do. They're saying all the right things about him, but if that doesn't work, or if one of those guys gets hurt, that's just, yeah.
Yeah,
He looks the part.
Not be good.
He looks the part, and they're talking about his leadership. But I mean, you can't play him if he can't snap the damn ball.
Yeah, just step it.
Another one I would point out, like I feel like Jamarian Wilcox is one of the fan base's favorite players.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I know.
Favorite, the most frustrating, but yeah.
All of last year, like I think there's some people that are just expecting him to get like that he's going to be the starting tailback, and it'll be like, why isn't he the starting tailback in week 1? But he is like he's 4th right now. I feel pretty comfortable saying that. Now that's why I talked about the scrimmages when they go 11 on 11. He's probably got a chance to gain some ground because we know he can run the ball. But like this offseason was big, I think, for him, like gaining trust and all of that stuff. And to this point, it seems like you can argue against that hasn't happened because he was, I mean, I think you could argue his tape last year was better than anyone else in that our running back room when you just watch him run the ball, but he's behind all these guys. So,
You know, let's just say it. His shoes weren't tied Saturday. Our boy, Nick Calzado, Will Warford on KSBoard took a picture of Wilcox's shoes untied in the middle of camp.
I still can remember my 7th grade teacher yelling at us to tie our shoes because she didn't want to hear us co-opting around the school. And that was her words, co-opting. So
that's a great word, co-opting.
Imagine how fast Wilcox would be if he wasn't co-opting, you know? Quick, no co-opit zone.
Part of it, of him, if he takes a step back, might not just be him. Seth McGowan looks like a dog. My goodness. Maybe it's that beautiful grill he has. We haven't had a player with a full grill. I don't know when, but that guy, I know he's missed some time and he's got a very unique path to getting here. But that guy looks like someone they could trust in what little we've seen and what they're all saying and what we've heard over the weekend.
They're expecting him to be a star, and he does have a great story. It's going to take a little while to tell it all, but like he's not afraid to share it, right? Like he's very mature about it. He embraces I totally I was an immature idiot, and he's excited for this opportunity, and that's overall just the theme of this team, which it feels like more of a team that has the identity that Mark Stoops wants to play with, because it's a ragtag bunch of guys who have been doubted all their careers, played a lot of football at smaller levels, and this is their kind of their one shot, their one opportunity. They've got Mom Spaghetti all over their jerseys, right? Like from McGowan, Shiaz Pete, and the Beasts of No Nation, David Gusta, even, like it's just you go down the line and it is player after player after player. Like that's kind of their story. And so like that's when Mark Stoops' team has been at their best, when they're these sort of guys who are doubted that you don't expect much from. So you hope they put it all together during fall camp, but it is just the beginning of it. We were 5 practices in. They got about 15 more to go. But all in all, it was just so much fun to get back out there. Like I feel kind of like I'm drinking from a fire hose those first few days, but it's like, hey, this is football. This isn't house settlement talk. Yeah, we're back.
I think Phoenix Stevens, shout out to Phoenix, had a great board thread. It was a poll. It was like, am I crazy for getting excited about Kentucky football? And it was either yes or no were your options. And, I think it's natural to talk yourself into football this time of year. Like it's so close. You've missed it so much. But it does feel like everybody's saying the right things. There's a case to be made for getting excited. But then I look at the schedule and it's like, man, like even if they're much better than last year, getting to 6-6 is going to be so hard. I mean, half of the teams that Kentucky plays next year are already ranked in the preseason coaches poll. And if you add in, there are 3 more that are getting votes. So that's only 3 teams you play next year did not receive a single vote in the preseason poll. And one of them is Tennessee Tech, which is FCS. So, I mean, it's just tough. But, I mean, are you all feeling the same? I know, like I said, we all talk ourselves into Kentucky football around this time of year. But, from a month ago to now, are you feeling more optimistic, or are you just trying to be – I think I would describe my mindset as like guarded curiosity. Because I don't even know if I'm ready for optimism yet.
I do the same thing, Tyler, but I also get more pessimistic about the teams Kentucky plays. South Carolina is not the 13th best team in college football, and Ole Miss is not. Neither of those teams will be ranked at the end of the season. Tennessee, you want to talk about a pile of garbage. My God, they are just walking around on fire. They have 5 healthy receivers right now. You think that team is the 18th best team in the country? No, they can't even. They're afraid to show what quarterbacks are throwing passes because they're getting picked off.
We got to cut this and put it on Ball Twitter and just
here
get
he
all
goes.
the engagement. Get the reel ready.
You're muted too, Luckett, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come join us. Is he there?
He hit the wrong button.
To answer Tyler's question while Luckett gets unmuted, I'm very excited, but they're winning 5 games. Like, I can be excited and know that it's not going to be anything great. They're winning 5 games. I've accepted it. I've already bet the over 4.5, knowing it's going to be 5 even. But I'm just excited to get out there and see it. I've loved Kentucky football as long as I can remember. There's been many more bad years than good, and I've been excited about all of them. So I'm excited, but also don't have high expectations.
Can you hear me
I
now?
think we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you now. You're good.
Can't do the Tennessee thing, Nick. You just can't do it. Like, yes, it's fun to think about. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't do it. Beamer owns them. Beamer owns them. So, like, we can say South Carolina's overrated, but they have to go and beat them.
100% correct. I think the biggest mistake we make is assuming that the teams in August are the team that you're going to see in the fall. Like, is when the season, because like what was the year where Kentucky went 9-3, and then afterwards we had that whole Mark Stoops actually doesn't beat teams with a winning record in the SEC, which is just, it's a very stupid thing to say, because if Kentucky has a winning record, then the teams they're playing are probably have a losing record. That's how this works. But my overall sentiment, though, is just that a lot of these teams that we hold up in such high regard, like Kentucky's closer to them than you think. Are the other teams still probably better? Yeah, sure. Am I going to predict Kentucky beats Tennessee? Of course not. I'm not ready to get hurt again, but it's August, so I'm ready to get hurt of it again. Suck it, Vols. You're going down. Good luck blurring out your quarterback on Saturday. We all know it's going to be Joey Aguilar, who's back there throwing pick after pick after pick. They're going to be calling him Joey Garantano by the time his time is done in Knoxville.
Yeah, for Kentucky, it's not about the opponents. It's about them. Like, they quit last year. Team quit.
Yeah.
So, like, you've got to, they're saying they didn't change the culture, but you've got to, like, this team has got to lay a foundation for what this next chapter of Mark Stoops' Kentucky football is going to look like. And if they don't, then it's like, well, what are we doing here? So to me, it's more about this the team. Do they play? If they play hard every week and they look well coached and they go out there and play as a team, they're going to have a chance to go 6-6. They will. Like, it'll come together for them. But if they don't do that, then they're going to go 4-8, 3-9 again, and we're going to be sitting here asking the same questions over and over. In UK, he's going to have to probably give some different answers or take a different approach than they did last year. So for me, it's more about just them as a team. This is life in the new SEC. It's going to be, Mark Stoops' words, this bleep is hard. It's going to be hard. But to give yourself a fighting chance, you have to be at your best. And Kentucky was not even close to that. And they've got to get back to where they can be at their best again. And that's not going to happen this year, but they need to take a step in the right direction and create a platform that they can, potentially leap off of. And that's really, to me, what this kind of season is all about, because even if they hit their ceiling, I think if everything broke right, you're looking at it's 7-5, and then I'm going to be mad when they go to the Music City Bowl again. Like, that to me is like,
oh no,
get me there.
To be mad about the Music City Bowl again.
I would love to be walking in Memphis, Birmingham, anywhere. Give us.
I'll go to any, but the Music City Bowl is like my least favorite event on earth.
Adam just can't do it. That's his line.
If they don't figure it out and they go 3-9, as you said they could, Country Boy will need to back the truck up. There's not enough beer over at Chair Avenue where there's like 40 beers on tap. That will be a disaster.
The thing that it's a little ironic, because we just spent all this time talking about X, Y, and Z players and who look good and da-da-da-da-da. But the one big takeaway, like the biggest takeaway of them all, is that I mean, they stink at messaging, but like this should have been the clear message, because essentially what Brad White told us is that the reason why they quit last year and they sucked is because they just didn't cultivate enough mental toughness, but they weren't deep enough. And we talked about it some on 11 personnel, but they're essentially saying, we're going to beat you with numbers. We're going to be the North in the Civil War. And just like, we're going to have more numbers that we can rely on than anybody else so that we can be successful in October and November when teams start getting banged up. We are going to have the one thing that nobody has in the transfer portal era, and that's depth. And that is like an actual change in philosophy of what they used to be. That was not their MO, especially when they sucked the last few years and you were relying on star power from Dane Key, Barry Brown, and Deion Walker, and even going all the way back to Will Levis and Chris Rodriguez. They were star power teams. They're basically saying, hey, we're going to beat you with depth. And I don't think you can write depth on the schedule poster. I don't think, it's not the most rah-rah shish kebab thing, but at least it's something different. Like, it's a different approach, and this is a good test year for it, because if it doesn't work, none of your assistants are on contract, and you can just break glass and do the fire everybody thing, because that's certainly on the table.
Also, the injury kind of clarity we got more this week. We got in a little of it, but they kind of went into more detail. Why couldn't you do that in February?
No headlines. Can't do headlines in February.
No headlines.
When people talk about you.
Just to make on the messaging. But like, I'm writing a thing on Plus, and I kind of go through all the injuries, and it's like jarring. Deion Walker. What, did he break his back, Nick?
Yeah, it sucked. It's like I've had that injury. It took me out for 3 months, and he played with it. So like, you couldn't
Maxwell
just
Harrison
that?
didn't play in 5 SEC games. Your starting tailback, you went and spent money on to be kind of your power back. Didn't play. Harley Gilmore, who you were excited about, breaks his collarbone. Josiah Hayes, who's going to play a big role for you, tears his Achilles in spring practice. You went out and paid Gerald Mincy to be a tackle. He misses half the season. And it was on and on and on. De'Eric Jackson, maybe your most important defensive player, has to miss the last 4 games, and they were games like that really mattered in the SEC and, against Louisville. So, like, that was a big part of the team. It wasn't their only problem, but that was towards the top. And so they've kind of like went out and kind of talked about that. I think Stoops talked about it Monday, and then Brad White talked about it both in the luncheon and at media day on Friday. So like, staying healthy is a huge point. And then like building that depth that Nick was kind of talking about there. Part of the reason they wanted to do that was what happened last year. Like, they went to Tennessee with like 50 scholarship players. They had players that were redshirting that weren't going to play. And then they had like 15, 18, 20 players on the injury report. Like, they only had like 50 players they could play in that game. And so that was a big issue last year, and they're hoping, I think, to fix that, and knock on wood. They're in a good spot right now, but that was a major issue, I think, for them last year. And even to this point, they're much more further along, because like, they couldn't even practice in the spring and part of fall camp last year because of some of the injuries they had.
To combine our fall camp and Tennessee topics before we move on to the world of television, Nick, if you were UK media, what position would you blur out of Kentucky's camp? It can just be more of a metaphor, something you feel is a weak spot. Obviously, we're not cowards that would blur fall practice, but what do you feel like is a big question mark that you're not ready to put on tape and pound your chest about?
I would blur out the punter, because we're not going to need him. Sorry, Aiden Laros, you're fun on KSR, but you're never going to play. So like, why even be in the video? Just get comfortable on the sidelines, buddy.
Luckett, do you have a position of concern anywhere?
That blur is
That is
so
ridiculous.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's the most college football thing I've seen him.
Has anyone looked to see if you can just see the other quarterbacks on the sideline? We all know who it is, but if you just had to do process of elimination, it looks like the others might just be standing there somewhere.
Was this from a closed practice, or was it from like a fan day type open practice?
It was a closed practice. It was like a highlight package.
Yeah, I was going to say, because if it was like a fan day thing, that's even more dumb because some 5 million fans are going to have their phones out taking a video. It's not like you're going to ask them to blur everything.
Josh Heupel opening practice. We kind of poke at UK for not opening up much stuff, but it might be the most liberal policy in America, in the SEC, to have 2 open practices to the media. Good luck getting that Kirby Smart to open the doors for you.
I was going to say, we have a Tennessee fan in the chat, by the way.
As we always do.
Yep, we got him fired up.
He's got a lot going on in his life on a Monday.
Can we blur out the Wi-Fi at Kroger Field? Is that possible? Because we have a super chat from, let me find it, Westopher Robin, who said, will they finally upgrade the speakers from only being on one side of the stadium at Kroger Field? So the speakers, not the Wi-Fi. But we get an update on the Wi-Fi from Mitch. I don't know about the speakers, but
they're paying to take a look at it.
Yeah, it's going to take like 5 years or something.
Oh my gosh. Between both of those things, don't feel like issues that you need to have a group of engineers to solve. Like, can you just plug in some routers and go? But apparently for Wi-Fi and the speakers at Kroger Field, it's that much of a pain in the ass. And here's the thing too, to people who aren't, like, it actually is a huge pain in the ass for us to get on the Wi-Fi. They require a login. Each individual has their own password. You can't just make one password for everybody to use. You have to create your own. So a lot of people are just like, screw it, I'll use Hotspot instead of figuring this out by myself.
At this point, I think Kentucky's going to need some PIF money to figure out how to fix the speakers at Kroger Field.
It is the year 2025, and I think Cliff Hagan was talking about putting in Wi-Fi when he was AD.
I mean, what do we got to do? I mean,
they're putting money back into the stadium.
Private
like
equity to fix
$36
the
million.
speakers.
Yeah, and they're talking about having more concerts and all that. I'm like, well, speakers probably be a big part of that.
Oh,
but,
I heard somebody who was like, just the acoustics of the way it's set up, it's impossible to fix. I'm like, no, I refuse to believe that the acoustics of Kroger Field are so different than every other stadium in America that this is the one place that they can't figure out how to get sound to 60,000 people. It should not be that difficult. I'm not an audiologist or speakerologist or a stadiumologist. It should not be that hard.
So Westopher Robin, we really hope that they will fix it. I don't know.
All right, hit the ding on our next topic. That's enough football. We're going to wear these guys out before the season begins. Let's talk about football on television. A little different. Starting tomorrow, we have 2 options. You can go with the little Netflix SEC football any given Saturday, which premieres, I guess, probably tonight at midnight, or tomorrow night on HBO, a little Hard Knocks. Buffalo Bills, their season with 3 cats, Ray Davis, Max Harrison, Deion Walker. Which are you most excited about? Nick, I know you and Adam got a little preview of the SEC version. Give us a little, you wrote about on the site, but I assume that's the one you're looking most forward to.
Yeah, because like Hard Knocks, I usually just watch the first one. Then after that, it's kind of, And the best part about Hard Knocks too, if Ray Davis is featured, I have a feeling that's going to get clipped for social media because it's probably – he's going to be the feel-good story. You know, they'll end up doing those at some point. It will be cool because he kicked field goals in practice the other day. I'm sure they're going to tie that in. He became their emergency kicker because their kicker got hurt, which he says he kicked a 57-yard field goal in high school. Love you, Ray.
57-yard field
57. I think you might have also kicked at college if you were kicking 57-yarders, but I digress. I admittedly, I don't like stuff like this. Like, this is not I don't like sports documentaries from now. Give me one of like a team 50 years ago and I'll eat it up. But behind the scenes stuff, I don't really like from now. The SEC football one's going to be fun just because it hits right during the desert, because as fun as it was getting straightforward, direct answers last weekend, fall camp gets boring here coming up. So this will be a good void. I'm sure we'll get a little bit of Deion Walker. The that episode I'm fired up to watch, though, just the cameras being in the middle of the celebration at Vandy when they beat Alabama. Like that, I'm pretty sure they're going to be on Diego Pavia when he hears the Nick Saban clip, right? Like that's going to be cool. As jaded as I am, that's going to be cool. So I think folks are going to really enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, they got to follow the Vandy fans taking the goalposts down Broadway and dumping it in the Cumberland, right? That's got to be on it. And if it's not, I'm going to be seriously disappointed. But I feel like I'll enjoy that entire series except for the UK parts because they're going to be depressing. So
yeah, in the trailer or preview they showed, or maybe it's the intro, Dane Key was shown on that, so he's going to be at least probably a big part of an episode. I think, like, Nick, if you're like really locked into football and know what happened at these games, like there's going to be some stuff where you're like step away and be like, well, they didn't even mention that, which was like a big part.
Yeah. I got annoyed about that with the South Carolina LSU game. I'm like, that was the pick six. I could call it back, but yeah.
So I think some people will be like, this wasn't that good, but this is made for a more broader audience, I think, to introduce them to SEC football. So I think that's important to remember. And that's who this show is going to be for.
Yeah, it looks like Dane Key and Max Hairston are sitting on a porch with a dog that Max got at a KSR remote. So I don't know what they're doing on a porch with a dog.
I didn't know that.
Scott County Humane Society, shout out. And then we've all seen the clip of Deion Walker in a three-wheeler running around town. So
random.
I hate those things so much. No offense, Deion, but like, come on, dude, just get the cool car. Don't get the three-wheeler, you know?
Well, I'm looking forward to both. Hard Knocks more so because I think the Kentucky guys are heavily going to be featured. Max was a draft night star. Ray Davis and his story, especially if he's out there like Ray Finkel kicking 57-yard field goals. And now, if you're believing the comments out of camp, we might get some heavy Deion coverage too because it's looking like they believe in him. So, you know, some good TV to watch while we count down.
Did you all ever watch the Tony Danza movie where he's the garbage man who kicks garbage cans and he becomes a kicker for the Eagles?
Yes, it's a great movie. Oh my God, Disney Channel movie, like a old school Disney Channel original movie,
mid-90s.
Garbage picking, field goal kicking, Philadelphia phenomenon, right?
Something like that.
The title.
Brevity was not.
Yeah, I enjoyed that movie as a kid. I haven't probably seen it since in 15 years now, but
better or worse than Heavyweights?
Oh, Heavyweights is the best.
There's a
Which
scene
I still haven't watched.
There's a scene you can find on Twitter of Tony Danza's dad in that movie just yelling at the Eagles for losing a game. That's pretty funny. That I see her like pop up around Twitter every once in a while. But yeah, it's certainly a football movie.
Yes, it is it's a movie where they play football.
Luckett, were you kicking trash cans during the Speedway Classic?
No, but I was not happy.
Who was? I was so excited for that. What a terrible, terrible night for the MLB. I don't care for baseball. I get up in the morning, I look and see my Braves, I read the box score. I love the Braves. I have not watched a non-playoff game in its entirety, and I don't know how long. I get into the playoffs, but regular season, But I have been counting down for the Speedway Classic for a long time. Pre-game coverage started at 6:30. I was on the couch at 6 telling people to leave me alone. And then for the next 7 hours, I watched it rain in Bristol, Tennessee with nothing to do. John Smoltz and the crew talked for hours. There was really no hope. I guess they had nothing to switch to. But if you have any access to a weather radar, you knew baseball was not getting in that night. But for my Braves and your Reds, it should have been such a big event, and that was an absolute disaster on Saturday. Did anyone else commit? It sounds like you two were at the lake, but did anyone waste a Saturday like I did?
Yeah, we got back. Yeah, we turned it on, and it was like the saddest thing I'd ever seen because you just see them trying to clean the field in the middle of the rain, and they keep showing all these fans in the stands, and they look miserable. So we didn't have it on for long, but I did turn it on just to see how bad it was. And then like all the reports about the concession stands, like hot dogs without buns. Like, how could you be that poorly prepared for this? That's what I don't understand. This is like a big event, right? You know, with big names, Fox, MLB. How do you just screw up the logistics of it that badly?
And from my understanding, MLB didn't hire whoever runs the track for Bristol when they have the big events that know like how to stop.
They brought their own crew.
They brought their own crew who never worked at this venue before. So like knowing that, of course there was going to be some big problems. Like
they were asking to fail.
They have two events a year there where 150,000 people come. You were going to have a crowd half that size. Maybe just pay them.
Yeah.
They're going, where's the hot dog buns? Like, I don't work here. Like, first time in the building trying to run an operation like that. It should have been so good. The NASCAR numbers on the jerseys look cool. Tyler Stevenson's catcher gear is the greatest thing that could have happened in that game with the Ricky Bobby look, with the Wonder Bread, the Reds. Even when they did play, just hitting home runs on the track. There were so many things that should have made it a fun event. But it was absolutely terrible. It was terrible for Luckett, who loves the Reds, and it likely ended their chances. I wanted the Braves to lose, and they mess around and win 2 of 3. I actually wanted the Reds to win. Just an absolute disaster. You got a pitcher on Sunday who got picked up in a car at 5:15 a.m. and driven to Bristol. He just wakes up not knowing he's even playing for the Braves, and next thing you know, he's starting in a Speedway. Actually played well, by the way, but utter chaos. And is that the end of your Red season, Luckett? Is there any hope left in the tank?
I mean, there's a lot of games left still. I don't think one loss or one series loss is going to take them out, but they definitely need to go on a run here soon, like a big.
That should have been a sweep.
Go 10-2, yeah, and they've got some tough foes coming up. So not looking great, but there's you get 10-2 stretch, they could be right back in it.
Will they try that again?
No.
Yeah, no.
I hope not.
I mean, they should. It was just logistics was messed up, and they, bad luck on the weather. I think for baseball, it was like a really big deal, and like a lot of fans were excited about it, and it was cool. Like, when's the last time you set aside time to watch a baseball game?
In the regular season, can't remember.
So from that aspect, it was a great idea, similar to kind of what we've seen hockey do, NHL do with the what's it called, the outdoor classic or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I think they should consider it again, but maybe pay the people who know what they're doing to
yeah,
run
you
the
can't
event.
have another Fire Festival. Like the Fire Festival 2 didn't ever go down as planned because Fire Festival 1 was so bad. So I agree. I think it'd be cool. And you're right. We are talking about a baseball game on a Kentucky sports YouTube show on a Monday, but I don't know, man. We had somebody in the chat who was there. Philip Johnson just walked in for free. He lives 10 minutes from Bristol and just walked in. So
that's pretty cool.
Can I just say too, shout out to Phil. More people should do that because it's especially for outdoor venues. They don't question you. Just walk. I don't know. I don't think I ever got ticketed at Kroger Field until I was in college, and that was just because I had student tickets. Like you just walk. Well, there you go. Stop. Just keep walking. Just keep walking. Just try.
Break the laws. Break all the laws.
If they say, "Where's your ticket?" You do the like, "Oh no, I don't have it on me. I'll go back to my car." You try another gate. If you keep failing, then go get a ticket. But it's not that hard. Just keep walking. Act like you belong. Act like you're supposed to be there.
Nick Roush's comments are Nick Roush's alone. They do not reflect On3's policy of attending games. Please buy tickets and support your local sporting venue.
Yeah, password share.
Yeah. Let's get some KSBoard questions before we move on to our Monday evenings. Got a big Naked Gun marathon coming up. I'm going to watch all 3 of them.
Ooh.
Well, probably not all tonight. I started one last night and fell asleep, and my wife hadn't seen any of them, so she doesn't know it yet. But she's got a long night with Leslie Nielsen in her future. Leslie Nielsen.
Love the cold open to 3 1/3 that makes fun of the Untouchables, or the baby strollers falling down the stairs.
Yeah.
The opening. The guy's reading the newspaper and the headline says dyslexia for cure found. And I just.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff they don't put in movies anymore.
I love it so much.
Family
what
fun.
A terrible, corny joke. All right, Steven, I'm trying to pull up the board on my phone. I have a microphone, by the way, so I get to actually use my phone during the
nice
broadcast. Yeah, look at me.
I think one of them was, what are our favorite TV shows? Top 5 favorite TV shows?
Oh, man. I thought way too long about this.
Sopranos, Breaking Bad, The Wire, my top 3 in some order.
Never seen any of them.
You're missing out.
Really?
Yeah.
Those are 3, iconic television shows. What? Start to end, all 3 of them just terrific.
Do you own a TV?
Television.
I was gonna say I could get away with you not seeing like one of the 3, but all 3.
Well, Sopranos and The Wire, they were done before I was a teenager, I think. Like they were very early on. And then Breaking Bad, I should have watched. And it was because I remember the finale was what, like 2014, 15, something like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I got to season 2 twice watching it and just couldn't push through. It's just too long, too much. And I just couldn't break through.
I binged Breaking Bad after it was over, and getting through the first 2 seasons are hard. But middle of season 3 and then season 4 and the last 2 to 3 seasons are the best. It's the best run of television ever. To me, like it's the best, like especially
It's good stuff.
specifically the last 2 seasons. I mean, it's just incredible how it just kind of takes off from there. But yeah, the first couple seasons, it's a slog to get through, 100%.
I bet you've seen one of the shows on my list. I know you have, Nick. Game of
Mhm.
Thrones. That was on my top 5.
Yeah,
Although maybe take out the last season because it frustrated me.
Yeah, and as annoying as that was, you can't diminish how much fun it was. Where
Yeah, it was like
you
it was an event every Sunday. It was what do you call it? Appointment viewing. It was Sunday at 9:00. You were in front of your TV watching Game of Thrones.
In an era where people don't do that. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
and you talked about it, and you had theories about what was going to happen. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
I also have Friday Night Lights, which I know will not be on Nick's list because we have this fight every time this year. You know
Mhm.
that you don't like Friday Night Lights, the TV show, and because you're a crazy person, and I love it. So.
The movie is my favorite sports movie, but the TV show, I just something
TV show's
about
better than the movie.
no, it's I
TV
think
show's
it's
way better than the movie.
who's the Riggins. He just looks like the most hokey soap opera person I've ever seen. I can't stand it. I
You're
can't.
jealous of his hair.
I mean, the
You're
first
totally
3
jealous of his
seasons, I
hair.
think it's the first 3 seasons of Friday Night Lights, the TV show, are very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be right
Towards
back.
the end, it gets a little wonky.
I also
Right.
had Mad Men on my list. It was kind of like the same thing. It was like appointment viewing. It was totally different than anything that was on at the time. Oh,
Yeah, I couldn't get
do
into
we have
that,
a
man.
prop?
I tried.
Are you bringing in a prop?
I have everything we're talking about on my desk right now. What else do we need? You're talking about all my favorites.
I bet
Game
you
of
don't have
Thrones.
Sex in the City. If you have Sex in the City, I'm going to be seriously impressed.
I just finished. My wife had never seen The Sopranos. She just finished season 1. Roush, you got to catch up. It's the best.
Does Red Zone count?
Oh,
Red Zone. If you want to count it.
This time of year, sure.
That's in my top 5, 100%.
my number one. I need a world's number one boss mug. The Office was the first show I ever binged, and that was probably
fair.
like season 4 or 5 was out when I got hooked to it. And I like sitcoms. I like them probably more than any. I don't like serious. I know we're in the golden era of serious TV and all that. And hell, we're probably past it now because I think there's more duds now than anything. Like Severance sucks. This show is garbage. That should have just been a movie. Like that is my hottest take is all of these shows don't have to be shows. Just make it a movie. I don't need 16 episodes. They could have done 2 of those seasons of Severance in a 2.5-hour movie. Max.
My husband is going to watch this and like come find you and like have a talk because he
You
loves
need to-
Severance.
You need to watch The Sopranos and get Pauly Walnuts in your life. That's what you need, Nick Roush.
It's
you need
just-
to stop kicking the. You just need to sit down and watch The Sopranos. You will love it.
So, like, at least in that, there's stuff happening. Severance is just like nothing happens for 40 minutes, and then they do a cliffhanger for the next episode. Like, I need these shows to move on. Like, The White Lotus is kind of like that for me, where I like it fine enough, but sometimes I'm just like, why do you have to just, like, I like some suspense, but like you're just tickling this muscle and then nothing's actually happening. So, like, I need a little bit more. Give me some more. Give me Michael Scott falling into a koi pond. All right. That's my kind of TV. Or Veep. I've been watching Veep recently. Like, hey, make me laugh. Like, that's fun. That's more fun than just like, I'm going to be the most serious person that's ever existed. Like, I just chill out. Like, just chill out some TV.
Roush, you're getting killed in the YouTube comments. Daniel Tucker says Roush may deserve jail time for that Severance take. Jacob Turner said, does Roush understand what TV is? Oh man. Steven wrote one in Lost and Breaking Bad. I was big into Lost when Lost came out. That was kind of like a big thing at the time. Although the last episode or the last season of that was bad too.
Lost is on my list of shows to watch, like binge shows to watch.
It's the first couple seasons of Lost were so good. And that's before they had to like stretch it out because they wanted more seasons and all that. That was good TV.
Weird how that works with TV executives. They decide they want to make more money and it starts getting bad. You know what was a great show? Cheers. Norm.
Yeah.
That's great television right there. Make sitcoms great again.
Roush is a 70-year-old man.
Turn into my CBS. So wait, we didn't mention the GOAT show, CBS Sunday Morning. That is number one.
I do love CBS.
All right.
1A.
But did you see it was a total replay on Sunday? They just reran the whole episode. Like sometimes I love, if you all are just joining us and you don't know, Roush and Drew and I love CBS Sunday Morning. Like we have a little fan club, but they have rerun like certain segments before, but they've never rerun an entire episode. I was severely disappointed.
Yeah, usually it'll just
summer,
be
but
right. Like Jane will be on vacation, so you get somebody else in, and they kind of pick and choose a few old stories, but there's usually one or two new ones.
it was the whole episode. I saw how old people are getting into gaming. I saw the 401k guy interview. I was let down.
Well, they just enjoyed the weather too. They had to get out and take
True.
enjoy summer.
If that one counts, then we can count Dateline.
Yeah, all right. Now you're speaking my language.
Fair.
It sounds like Luckett and I could just have TV marathons together. My top three are 1A, Sopranos, 1B, The Wire, 1C, Breaking Bad. Number 2, Game of Thrones. It would probably be 1D if not for the finale. Yeah. And then fitting that category at number 3, which is actually 5, Eastbound and Down. How can no one not say Eastbound and Down? It's one of the best shows ever.
I see, but Righteous Gemstone is my
going to Shabooms. We're going to
Righteous
Tampa,
Gemstones is fun. Or just the Baby Billy parts of Righteous Gemstones. I want the Baby Billy spinoff. Like, we need that. I know Righteous Gemstones is over, but
when season 1, when they went back, I sang Misbehaving. I mean, it was a problem in our house.
Yeah.
My wife would look at me and just say, "You are not running around with a pickle in your mouth. Shut up."
Put Danny McBride and Walt Goggins in anything, literally anything, and I will watch it. Those two are great.
Steven wants us to move on. He's putting question.
Yeah, Steven's got somewhere to be.
Steven's like, this is it.
When do you know summer is over?
It just happened.
Yeah, this is easy for all of us.
Fan day, media day. Although the weather did trick me because like that was okay. Well, actually, I guess the weather was appropriate because normally it's still 1,000 degrees out, and so you can swim for a while. But the days of swimming are done. But it usually is probably the last pool day. I'm sure for you, Tyler, it's putting that boat up.
Yeah, even though we just got the boat in like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So we got to wait to start to summer. But yeah, it'll be putting the boat in. So probably the first Kentucky football work weekend will be it for me. Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, for us, it's kind of the same answer right now as football starts up. I think I speak for all of it. That's when we know. When the basketball tournament ends, and then when the football starts is our window.
When the Phil Steele magazine comes out.
Adam Luckett, do you like haunted houses? Our good friend UK Andrew says he's going to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Orlando, and he's excited for it. Is that something you'd be into?
They're fine. It's not something I'm like, I got to go to haunted house this year, but I've been to them. They're fine. I don't.
Did you ever go to Waverly's haunted house like it?
I don't think I went to Waverly. What's the other real popular one here in town, Nick?
The one in the morgue, the Baxter Avenue morgue.
No, there's this like Scarefest or I don't know. I haven't been to that one either.
The Field of Screams, the Nightmare Forest.
I think I've been to Field of Screams. Yeah.
See, because I had Waverly Hills Sanitarium, which is legit haunted, and they would do a haunted house in there, but you could also just walk around in the dark. So that place makes you believe in ghosts. If you're a doubter, go there. Your mind will be changed. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like that.
That wouldn't like that. Yes.
Yeah. But my wife, she doesn't like anything scary. So I feel like I'm kind of excited for the next couple of years because I'll be the one I'll get to chaperone the kids when they start going to them, and that'll be fun. That'll be fun, kind of, and maybe even contributing to it a little bit.
When are kids old enough to take to a haunted house?
3.
Whenever they can walk.
However old they are right now.
Baby turns 1 tomorrow. She's going to Waverly Hills the next day.
I need to go to Waverly. I need my haunted houses to have some juice. Like, I haven't been in a long time, but I guess in the back of my mind, when I go to these local ones, I just know it's some high school kid that they're paying $12 an hour to startle me. And I can't get into it. So I need like a Waverly.
When you're old enough to like watch a PG-13 movie, I think is about the age.
I do think it would be fun. Like, he's going to Universal. I had never done a theme park when it's all churched up for a holiday, but when you went to the Citrus Bowl, the wife and I did Universal around Christmas, and it's fun doing all that. I bet it would be a lot of fun to do, because I'm sure they have some haunted houses, but also all the other kind of spooky stuff, you know? Oh,
Wonder
wow,
why.
peak. Mr. Skeptic over here. Why is Waverly so haunted and not every other hospital? Because they piled up bodies there with TB. Peak, bring the cameras out. I'll take your ass to Waverly, and you'll be crapping down your leg. All right? Don't you worry, buddy.
Happy hour from Waverly. We'll do that October week. Let's do one more, if there is one more. Or two more, whatever. Unfortunately, there's only one basketball, so every guy can't have a ceiling year, but would be interested on hearing your ceiling takes for the upcoming roster individually. What's the highest level of play we could see from Jalen Lowe, Trent Noah, Colin Chandler, etc.? Well, it would take a long time for us to go player by player and each give our takes. So
it's like a whole Sources Say episode. It's just what's the ceiling for each player.
Leave out, okay, we all have high hopes for Oweh, Lowe. We know the big names. Give us one of your underrated players that aren't getting talked about a lot that you think will take a big jump or will surprise people. Whoever wants to go first.
I mean, Trent Noah's being talked about a lot as the summer is like, his shooting and all that. So I don't know if he's really under the radar, but if the hype during the summer is true, then he's going to find his way onto the floor. I mean, Colin Chandler too, he had that little minor injury, but he's back in practice. So it sounds like he's really turned it on the past couple of weeks. So both of those guys, if they can find their way on the floor, like meaningful minutes. I know, what's the stat you always pull out, Drew, about Colin Chandler? He had more...
If you'll allow me, I'm very excited to share this. More points in March than in November through February combined.
Yeah. So Colin Chandler and Trent Noah, I'm here for it. Sophomore years.
I just love that every time you have a conversation about the Kentucky basketball team, you end up forgetting about somebody. When the roster was initially set, I was like, man, this Cam Williams guy is awesome. And then 3 months later, we're talking Kentucky basketball. Totally forgot he's even on the team. And the NBA draft happens, and they're like, yeah, he's a second-round NBA draft prospect. And people, like, 6'9", 3-and-D guy who can be a stretch four. I think that's what's fun about this team. And there's a lot of – but people forget about fill in the blank, because what's going to happen is Mark Pope is a Patino guy who just plays them all. And there's going to be ebbs and flows. And I like that when one ebbs, it gives the opportunity for somebody else to flow. And there's enough people there that you're going to find the right combination of five to figure it out on any given night.
Stars need to be stars. Kentucky needs to take it Oweh to be a star. They want to reach their ceiling. He's got to be a star, like All-American, which is what he's going to be in the preseason. If he plays up to that, they've got the pieces around that where they're probably going to be pretty daggone good. But,
And they need Quaintance on the floor. I think they need Jaden Quaintance.
Yeah, I'll be worried about that. But I think, like, Oweh and Lowe, I think this has been talked about. But they seem like if both of them are really good, then Kentucky's going to be really good, no matter what happens, I think, with the other pieces. But you need both of them to be really good. And you need Oweh, you're counting on him to be a star, and they needed to be a star.
I'll add something I wouldn't have said a month ago. I didn't think Malachi Marino would see the floor much, but just out of the early practice, you hear how good he looks and how Brandon Garrison hasn't made the jump they want yet. So I'm interested to see. It's not really a prediction or answering the question, but in my own brain, I think we're going to get more Marino than I was expecting when he first signed. I just thought it was going to be way too crowded for him. Freshman, needs to put on muscle. As skilled as he is, I just thought he might be a year two guy. But at least in the early summer, and there's obviously always overreactions to this, I am at least preparing myself to see him a little more than I expected, because I thought he might just sit at the end of the bench once Quaintance gets healthy. Do we have any more? Want to wrap it up there? Got another?
Wrap it up there.
Call it a day. Let's call it a day.
Hey.
We're well after 5. We all have lives to get to. Another great day, another great Monday. Getting very newsy around here with football content. Tomorrow is the Offenses Day, right?
Yep. We'll be hanging out with Bush Hamden and co.
We'll
Good
have
old Jalen Farmer.
Yeah, plenty of talk from those guys. Defense on Thursday. Camp season's here. It means lots of content. We are now 26 days away, 25 days away from the season opener. So stick with KSR on all the many things we do. Thank you for watching us today from 4 to 5. Thank you, Country Boy, for supplying Tyler. I got to get to go find some Country Boys. My fridge is too empty.
I can't be the only one drinking on this show.
No.
It's giving me like a complex here. So
I have a nice tea. But we'll see y'all next time. Go Cats.
Cheers.